Hello and welcome everyone on this official platform of Legacy Eyes Academy. Imagine a weapon that can travel across continents in less than 30 minutes. A weapon which is so powerful that a single launch could change the fate of nations. Now imagine that this weapon was just tested in the middle of one of the most volatile geopolitical moments in the recent history. So, as you can see headlines here, what is the Doomsday missile? US test Minuteman 3 amid Iran war tensions. Ji haan. So, on the night of March 3rd, 2026, United States of America quietly launched one of the most feared weapons ever created. Ji haan, that is Minuteman 3, which is intercontinental ballistic missile. Ji haan, intercontinental ballistic missile. And they have launched this, okay, they have launched this Minuteman 3 intercontinental ballistic missile. They have actually tested from Vandenberg space. You know, Vandenberg space is a force base in California. And within the minutes, the missile strike, or you can say it actually crossed thousands of miles of the Pacific Ocean before striking a remote target near the you can say Kwajalein Atoll. So let me show you the image. This. So officially, let me tell you, it was described as the routine test. But the timing raised eyebrows across the world because this launch happened while the tensions were exploding in West Asia with the United States of America, Israel and Iran, which logged in a rapidly escalating conflict that is already shaking global energy markets as well as security alliances. Now, the big question here is, was this just another routine military test or a silent reminder of America's ultimate weapon? The Minuteman 3 is not just any missile. It is often called as Doomsday missile, a nuclear weapon capable and traveling nearly 13,000 kilometers and delivering devastating warheads with terrifying precision. So, for more than half of the century, it has been one of the pillars of America's nuclear deterrence strategy. Okay, so as you can see here, but let me tell you, what makes this story even more fascinating is that this missile was actually designed during the Cold War era. Yes, this was actually designed during the Cold War era. And it has survived decades of technological change. Even today, hundreds of them remain hidden deep underground. And it is ready to launch at a moment notice. Now, the question here is, why does the United States of America still rely on this decades-old weapon? How powerful is this Minuteman 3 really? What role does it play in the nuclear triad that protects the United States of America? And why did this particular test capture the global attention right now? So, in today's video, we are going to decode the science, strategy, and then the geopolitical message also behind the world's most feared missile system. That is from Cold War innovation to the modern nuclear deterrence to the future replacement that could actually redefine the global strategic power. So this is the story of Minuteman 3, the missile designed for the unthinkable. And once you understand that how it works, you will realize that why even a routine test can send ripples across the entire world. Okay. So what is the context of the news here? What just happened? On 3rd of March 2026, the United States Air Force, they tested a powerful nuclear capable missile, which is called as LGM 30G Minuteman 3. Ji haan, as you can see here, 30G Minuteman 3. This one. And it was launched from the Vandenberg Space Force Base. Ji haan. It was launched from Vandenberg Space Force Base, and the missile flew about 4,200 miles. 4,200 miles, it is around 6,700 kilometers across the Pacific Ocean, and it hit a target at Kwajalein Atoll. Now, the important thing which you need to understand, that this missile did not carry a nuclear warhead. It was just a routine test, okay, which was planned years earlier. However, it happened during the rising tensions in West Asia, especially involving the Iran, Israel, as well as United States of America, which made the world pay attention. Okay. Now, next question here is, why is it called as Doomsday missile? What is the reason? See, the Minuteman 3 is a nuclear intercontinental ballistic missile. It is the nuclear intercontinental ballistic missile. Okay, now try to understand. That means it can carry the nuclear weapons, it can travel across the continent, it can destroy the targets thousands of kilometers away, because it is designed for nuclear war. And people call this missile sometimes called as Doomsday missile, but in reality it is meant mainly for the deterrence, so that it can prevent the nuclear war, not start one. Okay. Now, the origin of this is related to Cold War. Origins, Cold War invention. This missile is the Cold War invention. Okay. Now, the Minuteman program was began in 1950s. This Minuteman, this program was started in 1950s during the Cold War. Now, at that time, United States of America and the Soviet Union were in a nuclear arm race, and US wanted those missiles that could launch very quickly. It could survive the enemy attacks also. It could retaliate instantly. Earlier missiles, let me tell you one thing, that earlier missiles, they actually use the liquid fuel. है ना. अब liquid fuel जो होता है, it actually takes time to prepare. Earlier missiles use liquid fuel, which actually took time to prepare. So engineers, they actually developed solid fuel rockets. Okay, as you can see here, engineers developed solid fuel rockets which stay ready for years, which launch within the minutes. So the first Minuteman missile entered into the service in 1962. Okay, first Minuteman entered into service 1962. Now, the question here is, what makes Minuteman 3 very powerful? So, as you can see here, the table. So, here are its key facts. Okay. So, first of all, the height is 18.2 meters, weight 34,000 kg, and the range around 13,000 kilometers across the continents. Then warhead power 300 to 475 kilotons, and speed hypersonic over 24,000 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now, for comparison, let me show you. This is the image of Hiroshima. Hiroshima atomic bomb, it had about 15 kilotons of power. Okay. It had around 15 kilotons of power. Okay. Now, Minuteman warheads can be 20 to 30 times stronger. It can be 20 to 30 times stronger. Okay. Now, with this, I would like to tell you one more technology which is called as MIRV technology. Now, what is this MIRV technology? So, let me tell you. Now, this MIRV technology. So, first of all, this Minuteman 3 introduced an important innovation which is called as MIRV. Now, what is MIRV? multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles. जी हाँ, as you can see here, multiple then independently, okay, targetable re-entry vehicles, which is called as MIRV technology. इसका मतलब क्या है? What does it mean? इसको सिंपल से वे में समझिए, वन मिसाइल एक्चुअली कैन कैरी मल्टीपल न्यूक्लियर वॉरहेड. एक मिसाइल मल्टीपल न्यूक्लियर वॉरहेड को कैरी कर सकती है एंड ईच वॉरहेड कैन स्ट्राइक डिफरेंट टारगेट्स. कितनी खतरनाक होगी समझिए. ईच वॉरहेड कैन स्ट्राइक डिफरेंट टारगेट्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वन मिसाइल 3 cities और बेसिस, खत्म है ना. However, because of arm control treaties like New START Treaty, the United States of America currently deploys only one warhead per missile. Now, but the missile still has the technical capability to carry more. This is how they target. One missile, but they can target multiple cities, multiple bases. This is called as MIRV technology. ठीक है. Now, what is the role in the nuclear triad? So, let's try to understand role in nuclear triad. See, the Minuteman 3 is a part of America's nuclear triad. Nuclear triad का मतलब क्या होता है? What do you understand by the term nuclear triad? Nuclear triad means nuclear weapons are deployed in 3 different ways. Now, in 3 different ways means it can be deployed in land-based missiles. It can be deployed in land-based missiles. Clear? For example, let me show you. This is land-based missile. This is LGM-30G Minuteman 3. Then it can be deployed in submarine missiles also. Yes, it can be deployed in submarine missiles. So as you can see here, UGM-133 Trident 2. Then it can be deployed in strategic bombers. Strategic bombers like B-52, है ना, B-52 Stratofortress. Clear? Then you can also, there are strategic bombers like B-52 Stratofortress, then B-2 Spirit is also there. See, the idea is survivability. If an enemy destroys one system, the other can still retaliate. This is called as second strike capability. You must have heard the term many a times, second strike capability. This is in reality called as second strike capability. Now, the question here is, where are these missiles located? Okay, where are these missiles located? So try to understand. Around 400 Minutemen missiles remain on alert, and they are actually spread across the 3 bases. Now, as you can see here, the first base. This is the first base. Okay. Now, what is the name of this base? The name of this base is F.E. Warren Air Force Base. This is F.E. Warren Air Force Base. As you can see, it is written here. Second air base is Minot Air Force Base. This is Minot Air Force Base. Okay. The third air base is Malmstrom Air Force Base. This Malmstrom Air Force Base. I hope this much is clear to all of you. So each missile sits inside a hardened underground silo. As you can see here, this is Minuteman Missile Base Alpha 6. Okay. And 2 officers monitor them 24/7. Now the question here is, what if the communication is destroyed? So we need to understand, what if the communication is destroyed? Then for that, United States of America has a backup system. An aircraft which is called as E-6B Mercury. This is E-6B Mercury, this aircraft. So this aircraft, which is called as E-6B Mercury, which is nicknamed as Doomsday plane, है ना? It can control the missiles. Doomsday plane, which can control the missile even if ground command centers are destroyed. The plane can send launch orders, it can maintain nuclear command, and this actually ensures that retaliation is always possible. Now the question here is, why is the test happening now? Why is the test happening now? See, even though the test was scheduled years ago, it happens during a major crisis in West Asia. And this conflict involves United States of America, then Israel, then Iran is there. And the war has actually caused missile attacks, naval clashes, disruption of global oil supplies, and that is why. So the test reminded the world of America's nuclear power. Clear? So what can be the future? So the future replacing Minuteman 3. See, the Minuteman 3, as we have discussed, that it is the Cold War invention. So the Minuteman 3 is over 50 years old. So now United States of America is planning to replace it with a new missile. And that new missile is called as LGM-35A Sentinel. Okay, LGM-35A Sentinel. Now, let me tell you that this is a part of ground-based strategic deterrent. Ground-based strategic deterrent, GBSD. This is called as ground-based strategic deterrent program. Now, the timeline, if you see, first deployment will be done around 2029 and full replacement will be done by 2030s. Now, what is the biggest strategic message here? See, even though the test was routine, but it actually sends a powerful signal that US nuclear system is working. The missiles are accurate as well as ready. America retains global nuclear deterrence. So in nuclear strategy, let me tell you that the goal is simple. Make your enemies so afraid of retaliation that they never start a nuclear war. That is the logic behind the Doomsday missile. So the Minuteman 2, overall if we see, the Minuteman 3 is actually America's land-based nuclear missile capability of traveling 13,000 kilometers and delivering the devastating nuclear warheads, forming a key pillar of the United States of America nuclear deterrence system, though it is now nearing retirement and will soon be replaced by the Sentinel missile system. So this is the whole scenario here. So the launch of Minuteman 3 may have been described as routine, but in the world of nuclear strategy, nothing is ever truly ordinary. Every test sends a message about technological capability, a message about military readiness, and most importantly, a message about the deterrence. So for more than 5 decades, the Minuteman 3 has stood silently beneath the American landscape, hidden in the fortified silos, okay, across these states like Wyoming, Montana, and North Dakota. Day and night, teams of officers remain on constant alert. They are guarding a weapon that is actually designed not to be used, but to ensure that it has or it never has to be. Because the paradox of nuclear weapon is this: their purpose is not a war, but the prevention of war. Yet the world today is entering into a new and uncertain era. So the last major nuclear arm limitation agreement between the United States of America and Russia, okay, the New START treaty, it has actually expired. So geopolitical rivalries, if you see, they are intensifying. Conflicts in the regions like West Asia are expanding, and the major powers, they are investing billions in modernizing their nuclear arsenals. Even the Minuteman 3 itself is approaching the end of its long service. So within the next decade, it will be replaced by the next generation Sentinel missile system, which actually marked a new chapter in the evolution of nuclear deterrence. Okay, but the deeper question remains: in a world where nuclear weapons still exist, where global tension continue to rise, and where technology is making weapons more powerful than even before. Now the question here is, will these systems continue to prevent the catastrophe, or are they reminders of how fragile global stability really is? So we can say that the Minuteman 3, This test is not just a story about a missile. It is actually a window into the invisible balance of power that actually shapes the international politics. A balance that has kept the world from nuclear war for nearly 80 years. And as long as this balance exists, these doomsday weapons will remain quietly waiting, hidden beneath the earth. Okay, ready but hopefully never needed. Because in the end, the most powerful weapon in the world is not the missile itself, it is the fear of what would happen if it were ever launched for real. Okay, this is the whole scenario here. So I hope this much is clear to all of you. So this is all about Doomsday missile, which recently United States of America has tested, which is the Cold War innovation. So I hope everything is clear about Doomsday missile. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much. Subscribe our channel Legacy IAS Academy, like this video and share with your friends. Thank you so much.